Call to order the June 3rd, Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 regular Board of Education meeting. We welcome all of you who are here tonight. We appreciate you coming, and those of you who are with us live stream. I think there's maybe some issues there with what you're able to see on the screen, but hopefully maybe they will get that worked out. We are also having some technical issues up here. There's nothing on the screen for us, so we'll have our laptops. Hopefully that will continue to work correctly. But we appreciate you being here. First is the approval of our agenda. So I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Lewis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Next, we will have our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance, and Miss Vicki Watson will take care of that for us tonight.
Ask her to come up here, right there, after there. This is Dale Collingwood, Rachel Baptist Church.
Let us bow our heads, asking God's presence and blessings upon all this meetings and proceedings. Our Heavenly Father, we do thank you that we have the privilege to bow before you. We ask, Lord, that during this meeting that you will be honored. We thank you, Lord, for the sacrifice and service of all these elected officials, their time and effort they put forth. They are really the unsung heroes, the decisions they have to make. Lord, we just ask that you lead them and guide them and give them the wisdom, the direction and counsel in all that they do. We thank you for the administration and the staff, Lord, that supports them. We thank you for what they do. Bless them, their families. And then, Lord, we thank you for the parents. Thank you for the parents, Lord, that have raised children and recognizing the scriptures that we're all created in God's image, and therefore the morals of the scripture has to begin in the home. For we follow the mandate of scripture that says if we raise up a child in the scriptures, then when he becomes mature, he cannot depart from it. So we pray for the parents. It's an awesome responsibility to raise children. And then thusly, Lord, together, as we work together as a team, to realize the outcome of the next generation, raising them up so that they themselves may be able to follow after to the next generation. Forgive us, Lord, of our sin. Lead, guide, and direct us, for we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on our agenda is recognitions for North Carolina High School Athletic Association 2A state winners. Dr. Dennis.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. We do want to recognize some state champions from a couple of our schools. I will start off with Albemarle High School, and I would like to invite up Amari Baldwin and Dre Davis, please. So Ms. Baldwin is the winner of the 1A state champion in the triple jump. What did you jump, Ms. Baldwin? That's pretty impressive, 39 and a half feet. And Mr. Davis here won the 200 and the 100, and you're the past defending 100 champion. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
What'd you run?
This year I went 10.59.
That's pretty good. That's outstanding. Giving him a round of applause.
One, two, three. Take one more. Thank you.
Next, I want to recognize some athletes from West Stanley High School. Dominic Danzy, Daryl Bynum, Jonathan Moran, and Phoenix Hindy. Are y'all in the audience? So these gentlemen were on the 4x200 relay team that won the state this year. You were also you ran a school record in the 4x100 as well. Is that correct? What'd y'all run in the 4x2? Do you remember?
128, something.
And it was a really good race because Monroe had a pretty good team too, didn't they? And y'all edged them out. You did a fantastic job. And what I'm trying to say, it was a very, very good group of athletes that you competed against, and you come through and won the state championships. So congratulations.
So this group also won in indoor,
Oh, yes.
and we have two that's going to go serve our country, and the other one is going to college at Pfeiffer. This is the last chance I get these guys together as the seniors. Last week, the indoor state rings came in, so I wanted to give them their rings today. So this is Johnny's.
Go ahead.
Daryl and Miss Carter. Can you bring me the other box? The other one's
ahead,
gone,
right
but
here.
he's not here. No, I grabbed Dom's. And Phoenix. There you go. Yep, so hold them up.
Put your boxes at your feet.
You got it. Thank you.
Hey,
That looks good.
there we go. That's awesome. I know that's good.
That's good. Hey, come on. However you want.
All right, count three. 1, 2, 3. And hold it once. Second. One more. Thank you. Congratulations.
Dr. Dennis, you'll have them walk through for the board to shake the.
No, the only other one we had that I'll mention, we did have, well, I'll wait till you get done. We had one more athlete from West Stanley, Owen Grismer, won first in the discus. He cannot be here tonight. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming. That's an awesome accomplishment. The rings were really nice. You need to take a good look at those up close, guys out there in the audience, if you get a chance. Next on our agenda is public participation, public comments. So in accordance with policy 2310, the public participation at board meetings, it says each month part of at least one regularly scheduled board meeting will be set aside for citizens to address the board through public comment. Each speaker will receive 3 minutes to present comments. However, the public comment session will not exceed 15 minutes total except by a majority vote of the board. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made by the presenter. I'd also like to ask our speakers to please note the timer. It should be on the screen in front of you at the podium. I'm not sure with what's going on tonight whether you will see that or not, but if not, it's always visible at the 2 monitors on your left and right, the ones that you're able to see from the audience. So first we have Hannah Lear.
Good evening, school board members, faculty, and fellow community members. My name is Hannah Lear, and I am here tonight not only as a parent, but as a concerned taxpayer and advocate for our students and community. I stand before you deeply troubled by the direction this board is taking. First and foremost, I am concerned about the mismanagement of funds. Year after year, we hear promises of responsible budgeting, yet we continue to see wasteful spending that doesn't directly benefit the classroom or support our teachers and students. There needs to be transparency, accountability, and above all, a genuine effort to align every dollar spent with our students at best interest. Second, it is painfully clear that personal agendas have taken precedence over the need of our children and the greater community. Decisions are being made to serve the board's members' special interests and not to improve education or address the challenges that our schools face. The board's role is to serve the public, not personal motives. Additionally, I want to address the issue of public trust. The community is being shut out of the conversation, input is being ignored, questions go unanswered and dismissed. If you are not willing to listen to the people you are elected to represent, then who are you truly serving? Lastly, the proposed consolidation plan. We are being told consolidation is the solution, but let's be honest, consolidation isn't the cure-all. It's a Band-Aid. It doesn't address the root problem, whether it's the poor planning, lack of vision, or poor leadership. Instead of reshuffling our students and staff, start fixing the broken system that led us here in the first place. Also, I came to you on April 1st. I have yet to receive a follow-up from Dr. Jared Dennis. He presented his budget to the county commissioners on May 21st, and nowhere in that budget was playground funds for our elementary schools. We deserve better, our kids deserve better, and we as a community are not going to be silent. And I have a minute left. You can call the sheriff if you like.
Thank you, Ms. Lear. I believe this is Mr. Schaefer. Your handwriting's a little different this month.
Board members, my name is William Schaefer, as you all know, and I've come to say this. Over the years, and especially over the last few months, the old axiom, liberty dies in darkness, has also come to mean that it dies in secret meetings. It dies in every rule that you violate, and there are many. It dies in obfuscation and manipulation of the information provided to and withheld from the people. And it dies subjugated by personal and elitist motivations accompanied by the willful courses of action that would have the people pay for liberty's funeral. The people of Stanley County have watched as school boards have wasted public monies on everything from land grabs and property acquisitions that led nowhere and did nothing to further the state of education, and purposefully disregarded opportunities to affect the people's determined will in ensuring that community-based schools survive and thrive. You claim in public that you're for the people and their children and their educations, but you have placed us on a path that will see the demise of community schools and ultimately the continued rise of deficits in public education across the spectrum. The monarch majority of this board has obfuscated and manipulated the plans of this board to consolidate schools, beginning with the high schools. And the chair and the rest of the monarchs have manipulated the meeting so that the public input is extremely limited, restricted, and in some cases denied. If the idea of school consolidation, which results in the shutdown of community schools, was such a great idea, why operate in secret? Why obfuscate the truth? Why violate every rule in the book to effect this course of action? Why vote and decide what's to be done before the people know the full truth and have the opportunity to speak to it? The fact is, your objective is to tear our communities down, our community schools down, which results in every negative aspect and outcome for our communities, parent involvement, and our kids, while favoring the select, your chosen, under the guise of growth and educational opportunity. And again, you've operated as bullies and tyrants in public meetings and against fellow board members in getting this far. And at the end of it, you have the audacity to push your objectives down our throats by requesting that we be on the hook for years on end for millions of dollars for only 2 high schools thus far. You claim to be all for education and children's learning, but ironically, the one lesson our young people will have learned with this board is that if you hold a position of governance, you too can use the tools and machinations of government to defy the will and the voice of the American people. You too can be above the rules and forward any agenda you please. If you're a member of the board, you can continue to waste the people's money, demand more of it, keep us in the dark about it, and then keep us silent about it, in pursuit of an education system that doesn't work and no one ever wanted. That's one hell of a civic lesson, guys. Through your manipulation of the entire processes from redistricting to consolidation, you've taught our children how to suppress the people's voice and will and how to subjugate liberty to the selfish whims of tyrants. And the irony here is, you hold everybody to a 3-minute rule, a ridiculous 3-minute rule in speaking, while you violate every rule in the book.
Megan Blaney.
Hi, I'm Megan Blaney, a rising 9th grader at West Stanley High School. I feel that a super school can take away an important sense of community because being in a smaller school for me has made it much easier to find my friends and activities that I like, such as band or theater. I also feel that being in a smaller school where teachers can get to know their students makes every student feel more included and lets teachers easier notice what each student needs and meet each of those students' academic needs. Having that sense of community in a smaller school lets students feel more comfortable asking for help and lets students not get lost. Having 4 smaller schools instead of 2 super schools lets students get more opportunities to be on sports teams, which can lead to more scholarships for those in our rural community who wouldn't be able to afford college otherwise. Having only 2 high schools cuts in half the ability to participate on sports teams. There's not an advantage socially nor academically to giant super schools. Please leave our schools as 4 community schools and not 2 big super schools.
Megan, can I just ask you a question? Did you say you're a rising 9th grader?
Yeah.
A rising 9th grader at West Stanley? Okay. Thank you. Patty Blaney?
I'm Patty Blaney. I'm that one's mom. We really wanted to come and talk because I think that how this all kind of came about, all of a sudden we've got this emergency call meeting. We're going to start talking about buying property before the community has even had a chance to weigh in on whether this is something we even want. And I will tell you, the majority of the people that I talk to in Stanley County do not want this. We want our community schools. So we're spending money also on land before we even have money to actually build these schools. So it seems to me like that's not being very fiscally responsible with the taxpayers' money. If you're going to start spending money on land before we've even got money to build these super schools that actually the community doesn't even want. The other thing that actually recently just came to my attention is that one of the pieces of land that you're looking at was one that the sheriff's office was told not to buy because it's so full of rock that it's going to take extra money just to get it to where you can even build on it. So to me, that just really stinks of this board wasting taxpayer money before they've even had a chance to let the public weigh in on it. The other thing that these super schools are going to do is destroy our sense of community. The majority of us that live out here in Stanley County do so because we want the kind of community that we've got out here in Stanley County. As someone who grew up in Charlotte and went to a school with almost 800 kids in their graduating class, I can tell you the community schools are a much better way to educate our students. Our high schools are going to suffer academically. They're going to suffer with behavioral problems if we move to these super schools. And I'm going to tell you, the public doesn't want this. So we would respectfully ask that you guys pull back on this and at least allow the public some time to weigh in before you decide to go buying a bunch of property and spending a bunch of the taxpayer money on things that the community doesn't want. We would be better off taking that money and spending it on things that actually are going to educate our children. You know, I hear all the time, oh, we can't compete with, you know, Mecklenburg County and Cabarrus County and Union County because they offer subsidies to their teachers. Well, you know, maybe instead of spending, you know, millions of dollars on a piece of property that, by the way, we can't even build on because it's got so much rock, maybe we should be spending that money to be offering subsidies to teachers so that we can attract better teachers to Stanley County and actually focus on what your job is, and that is to educate our children.
Thank you, Ms. Blaney. Next on our agenda is the approval of minutes. I do have two of those that I would like to amend, so I don't know if the board, pleasure of the board, if you want to just to approve the ones that I'm okay with, or, and you may have some changes that need to be made. Let's just kind of go back. The one change that I'd like to look at would be on the May 15th special called meeting minutes. After the paragraph where Mr. Swanson requested that his statement be included in the minutes, I would like to add that the board chair, Ms. Robin Whitaker, noted that during the discussion on the May 14th, 2025, no references were made to the specific general statute or relevant policies. In the absence of such documentation, at that time, a comprehensive review or legal assessment was not possible. The next one would be on the minutes for May 21st for the special called meeting. The next to last paragraph has a request by Ms. Poplin, and I would like it noted in there that the board chair was in agreement with that statement, but stated that everyone would definitely need to be in attendance. So those are the two changes that the amendments to those minutes that I would like to see. I'll ask for a motion to amend, and since I can't really make the motion, I would need someone else to make a motion to amend those minutes for the changes that I listed.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion in those?
I want to make sure that Mr. Swarnson's comment and the comment that I made that asked for to be on the record are in there. So hang on one second. I know that one was in closed session, so I want to make sure that they're both in there.
Yeah, both of these were open session.
No, the one I'm talking about was in closed session during the transfer appeal.
Yeah. This one is the one from May 21st. And then the other, like I say, was from the 15th. Any other discussion on those?
Yeah, there needs to be an amendment to the May 14th. Isn't that the first day of transfer appeals? There was a comment that I made in that meeting that I had specifically asked be added in the minutes. It's not in here.
That's the May 14th special called transfer appeals?
Yes, I believe so. Can't state the exact comment because it was turned close. So
These, right, we're not doing closed, these are just all open sessions, so. Okay. When we do those closed sessions, then we'll come back to that. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have a motion and a second. No other discussion on those. So all those in favor of the amendment to these minutes, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Amendment to those passes, so the minutes are approved. Next, we have committee reports. Let's go back.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
I
I'm back.
believe you have to.
I am. I'm backing up.
On the
So
amendment.
that was just on the amendment. So let's go back. So now that we've amended those, we can approve all of those together in one motion. So if there's approval for those motions as they are presented, could I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion on those?
Just want to make sure that the motion is as presented and as amended.
Well, we approved the amendment, right, yes. So we've approved them, yes. So this will be as amended, those minutes as amended.
So Point of clarification, when will we approve those closed session minutes?
When we schedule our meeting to try to maybe have that work session or end of the
Okay.
year meeting, she's going to have those ready for us.
Okay.
Since we weren't doing the closed session in the
Okay.
regular meeting tonight.
Thank you.
I'll make notation, though, that there's some question on that one. Okay, so we have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Those minutes are approved. So next we have committee reports, and first we have our Capital Improvement Planning Committee, Ms. Glenda Gibson.
All I have at this time is we had a meeting, May 22nd, long-range facility planning. I have nothing to bring before the board to be voted on at this time.
Okay. I know you had, there are some attachments and inboard docs that you've had an opportunity to look at, but she's not bringing anything that needs any decision made on. So next we have curriculum and instruction, and Mr. Bill Sorensen will do those for us.
Yeah, we met on, let's look at the minutes here, May 14th, and Ms. Mandy Melton presented our required reports for our CTE program, so if she'd come up forward and do that for the rest of the board, I'd appreciate that.
Good evening. I presented to the Curriculum and Instruction Curriculum and Instruction Board the local CTE plan for the county. This is a continuation of a 2-year plan that we are in the second year of. In the presentation, I discussed our goals and how we could support reading, math, and science, as well as post-secondary credentials and different forms of post-secondary attainment. You want me to do the whole? You want me to do that? Okay, I got you. I didn't know if you wanted a synopsis or the whole thing. Okay, I'm really good, but I'm not sure I'm good enough to do this all by memory.
Mandy, did you want to pull it up, or can Hope drive and?
Well, it's pulled up, but I don't have a double screen to be able to see what it is that I'm moving.
I see. I'm saying, Mandy, would you prefer to run it from that computer?
I can log in and run it off of mine. Ooh.
That's an option.
Can we turn that off for a second? Well, I don't want to show everybody all my email.
Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Sorry,
Excellent. Okay, now I can do this. Caught me a little off guard at first. Our CTE enrollment, I gave some basic facts and figures. Before COVID, our CTE enrollment was around 5,000 students, middle and high together. During COVID, of course, we took a dip in our enrollment in CTE, but we are well past where we were pre-COVID at this point in time in terms of CTE enrollment. Also, I shared some data about CTE concentrator graduation rate, and the CTE concentrator graduation rate consistently is higher than the state of North Carolina as well as Stanley County schools. One thing we are extremely proud of in CTE is our credentials that we are giving our students the opportunity to obtain while they are in our courses. In fall semester, our students earned 2,563 credentials. That was 75% of the credential potential for fall semester. I am proud to report that we have brought our average up for the year from 69 point and some change last school year to 72 and some change this school year. I did a brief review of the courses we offer here in Stanley County CTE, 11 agriculture courses, 8 business and information technology courses, 1 career development course, 7 family and consumer science courses, 3 health sciences, and 3 drone courses. We also have added some new courses this school year, including natural resources. Next school year, we plan to add a natural resources 2, and we've also added electrical trades 2. Auto mechanics, we have 4 classes, woodworking 3 classes, firefighting 3 courses, carpentry 4 courses, drafting and Python 5 courses, 2 electrical trades courses, and 4 masonry courses. We are extremely proud of our career and technical student organizations, what we call CTSOs. We have very active National Technical Honor Society chapters, Future Farmers of America, and Skills USA. A focus in recent years have been apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships, work study, and internship. Our goal is to allow kids to advance in their career pathway of study with that on-the-job experience. Our work with pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships is so important because if we can get students enrolled in pre-apprenticeship, that unlocks a tuition waiver for those students if they choose to go to community college. Like I said, this is a continuation of a 2-year plan. Last year, we completed our comprehensive local needs assessment. We did that through our business advisory that we have in CTE that meets 3 times a year, our teacher advisory council, and also survey or student input. We have had to follow the new career planning law that we actually surprisingly been following for a couple of years. We were ahead of the curve. Each student in Stanley County schools starting in 7th grade has a career plan that follows them throughout high school. We use that to advise, guide, and provide opportunities for the students. In terms of our federal indicators, we are judged on our 4-year graduation rate, which we actually exceed the state average. Academic and proficiency in math, language arts, and science. Also, post-secondary placement is an indicator we're extremely proud of because every February the following school year we survey our seniors through a DPI-led survey to see if they have received a positive placement, if they are either working or in school. Another indicator, again, I will mention is our industry credentials we're extremely proud of, and then our program quality and non-traditional enrollment. Our priorities for next year are program alignment with industry needs, student interest in the community college. We want to continue our career development with exposure in 5th and 6th grade, exploration in 7th and 8th, and experiences in 9th and 12th. Also, we want to continue to focus on credentials, make sure that they align with industry demand while increasing our number of students that obtain these credentials. So that's a little bit in a nutshell.
Any questions for Ms. Melton?
Thank you, Mandy. For our people in the audience, you can get the board docs on our website. It's under the About Stanley thing. Got some great CTE programs in this county. There's a cultural shift and societal shift taking place in the country to where skills and trade jobs are going to be replacing a lot of the 4-year college things. We got to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you. And you need a motion to approve the plan, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Since this is coming out of committee, we'll just need a second for that. Okay, so a second for Mr. Sorensen. Any other discussion on this? Okay, so I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. It does pass.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Melton. Thank you. Next, we have auxiliary services. Mr. Terry Dutney.
I'm filling in for Ashley tonight. So, what we have on the agenda first is our child nutrition vendors for the 25-26 school year. Of course, this is not all of them, but this is the ones that currently that we would need to go ahead and get in force for the effective July 1st date. So you'll see in your attachments where our groceries, snacks, and ice cream will be still renewing that contract with Gordon's Food Service out of Kannapolis. Our supplies, which is renewing that as well with Gordon's. Our produce is H&R Produce. I'm sorry, R&H. Milk, Stanley Dairy, and chemicals will be the SSF pack. So we'll need action on those, Madam Chair.
We need a motion to approve the vendor list for the 25-26 school year as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gibson, second. Second by Ms. Watson. Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's, if you know it off the top of your head, relative to last year and recent years, where does this price, I don't have
This
the document.
this is continual from last year's, but last year's agreement.
Okay.
We have a 2-year contract on those prices. So we'll actually be going out the bids for everything in the 25-26 for the new school year of 26-27.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. It is approved. Okay, I think you are up again, Mr. Dudley.
Okay, the second thing we have on the agenda is your child nutrition annual agreement. This is something that's brought to the to y'all every year. It's a continual agreement on how we're to administer the program through Stanley County Schools for our students in Stanley County. We'll need action on that as well.
Right, so we need a motion to approve that for the 25-26 school nutrition annual agreement as presented.
Is this in place of the CEP meals, or is this
This agreement is
outside of that?
outside of that. It's for the actual the process of the child nutrition program.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor, excuse me, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. And next is the CEP transition.
Okay, last year this time, we were talking about making 100% CEP for all our schools in Stanley County. We have accomplished that this year with all our children being able to eat free. With where we're standing currently, we're at a loss in our child nutrition program. So what I'm asking is that our board look back at going to what we had prior to 24-25 school year, and remove the 7 schools that we added for the 24-25 school year because of the participation. We actually, when this was brought to y'all's attention last year, the calculation for the participation was at, if we increased participation by 2%. But there was in the calculation, there was a formula that was not correctly inputted. And so by that happening, it caused a sizable difference than what was estimated to what we would need to increase our participation for. Therefore, adding those 7 schools to our CEP or community eligibility provision actually ended up causing the child nutrition program to have a loss for this year.
Do you have a list of the 7 schools that will
Yes,
be
ma'am.
removed?
Those 7 schools to remove are the North Stanley Middle and North Stanley High, South Stanley Middle, South Stanley High, West Stanley Middle, West Stanley High, and the Stanley Early College.
So we need a motion to approve the CEP plan as presented.
Does that include both of the early colleges?
No, ma'am. STEM falls under the Albemarle High tier. So STEM would stay as it is, CEP.
So we will have to be sending out to our parents, our students, as to what the cost of the meals are.
Yes, ma'am. Communication will need to be
And are
there.
they going to have to now go back to filling out
The applications, yes, ma'am.
application?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a motion to approve this as presented.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Any other discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to say, I don't know that as a system we did a great job of marketing this. I know that I had asked about it. I think at other times Ms. Gibson had asked about it. I don't know that we pushed it at our schools like we should have. I know there was some issues outside of that, but I just wanted that noted.
Yep. We, when we actually started initiating this community eligibility provision, it was very important that we got everybody in the community as well as our staff involved in pushing this out. We did do some flyers, but I think that overall, the the push was probably not as great as we anticipated it needed to be when we were looking at all children being able to eat free, as we were comparing that to the COVID epidemic timeframe versus non-COVID epidemic.
You know, as we move forward, and I agree with what Ms. Poplin said, that, I know we questioned things and tried to push things, and I know there were other circumstances here. Do we foresee that after next year, is there ever a possibility that we can come back to looking into something again where our children, all of our schools, are able to eat free?
You would have to have a big subsidy because, like you said, with the percentages are high. You could have marketed it harder and probably got some more percentages, but you weren't going to meet the percentage
So
actually.
even though it were to be marketed much better the next time, we will never be able to meet
Not at
that.
this juncture, no, because you're not going to meet the percentages needed. There's that many kids are not going to eat free or the food in the schools. When we still get some more from the state, I'll be able to share some more numbers with you. But the preliminary numbers I'm getting, which are not galvanized, are very high numbers.
It's just sad to me. I mean, thank you.
Yeah. Well, there is bills out there that legislation is wanting to get passed, so that's a thing that our citizens of North Carolina needs to get behind and push, that every child in the school systems can eat free.
Yeah, I will say that too. I think that should really be a part of school.
It does.
Just like any other book or supply or whatever, a breakfast and lunch really should be part of school, not necessarily a separate entity, but that's personal opinion, and maybe that's something we can speak to legislators about some other time, but thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the plan, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Levine. Next is Personnel and Administration, Ms. Lydia Hedrick.
Good evening, board members. As presented in closed session, we do have a personnel report for your consideration, June 3rd. Section 1 does not require any action. Section 2 does require your approval, and we did add an amendment to Section 2 as discussed in closed session, which is an administrative appointment.
So we need a motion to approve the following recommendation as presented with the one addition that she talked with us about earlier. So do I have a motion to approve Section 2? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Those are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have just comments. Mr. Louder, do you have anything for us for legislative updates?
Yes, I have a short summary. The good news is that on the House side, they passed their budget proposal, which surprisingly they did on a bipartisan basis, 93-20. I was quite surprised by that. So it went over to the Senate, which they are now discussing that now, and that's known as SB 257, if anybody wants to follow that. And some of the things on the House side that they agreed to was to increase teacher compensation by 8.7% over the biennium. And for most school personnel that are not on the teacher salary schedule, they would receive a 2.5% increase. They would restore master's pay again, which we used to have. They would provide state retirees with a 1% cost of living bonus in year 1 and a 2% bonus in year 2. And they would also increase schools' capital funding by $42 million. In addition, let me say that what's going to happen now is that the Senate is going to compare what they had come up with what the House has already voted on, and then they're going to come up with something, and hopefully both sides will then vote on a common budget for us. But right now, I can tell you the differences. What the House passed requires our public schools to establish a cell phone policy to eliminate or at least severely restrict student access to cell phones during the instructional period. But that wasn't in the Senate side yet, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. The House side establishes a teacher apprenticeship program, and that's to help increase the number of professionally licensed teachers that's coming into our system, and that actually mirrors the Senate side, so they're already in agreement on that. One thing that the House side included that's not in the Senate budget yet is that they're requiring local administrative units to provide all K-5 students instruction in performing arts, and that would be music, dance, theater arts, and visual arts. And so they're negotiating that this week as we speak. There is a requirement, as I stated, to reinstate master's pay, and now that's not part of the Senate's budget, but they're negotiating that. And however, the teacher bonus program, they have a schedule for the bonuses, and I'm not going to go into the details. It's kind of get into the weeds in that. But that mirrors the Senate budget. So as far as the teacher bonus program, already the House and the Senate are in agreement, as well as bonuses for principals, which are interesting, and I can give a kind of a summary on that. That mirrors the Senate side, and they basically have bonuses for principals ranging from $1,000 to $15,000, and it's based on growth in the schools. For example, the top 50% of statewide growth get a $1,000 bonus, and then it kind of stair steps up to the highest. If you're in the top 5% statewide in growth, then you get a $15,000 bonus. So, and then there's, as I said, stair steps along the way. So basically, they're moving forward in a fairly quick method. I was kind of surprised that the House came up with that bipartisan approval so quickly, and now it's over on the Senate side. So we'll see. They're negotiating right now.
Thank you, Mr. Any other board comments? That's why I'm looking at you.
You know I'm going to talk. I always talk. I usually prepare comments, but I'm just going to fly off the cuff today. Attended the Albemarle High School graduation ceremony at the stadium last week, 48 years after I graduated from Albemarle in the auditorium, and it was just so surreal. But I wanted to point out the two speakers, Jasmine Brown and Vincent Gregory, the two student speakers, actually touched my heart and inspired me with their speeches. I have sat through probably 200 graduation speeches, and usually you hear the same things, but those two kids really got to me. I mean, seriously, you were there, right? An incredible thing. I do want to shout out to our state champions, the National Federation of High School. That's the sanctioning body for high school athletics all across the country. Says about 1 in 500 kids gets to wear the medal or gets the ring to be a champion. So that's pretty impressive stuff we had there. And I just want to shout out again to Jasmine and Vincent. Those two speeches touched me. You talk about kids that you could invest in like a stock. I'd be buying a ton of shares on those two because they just amazed me. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a comment. I also want to congratulate our state winners tonight. I want to thank Commissioner King, Ms. Crump, and Mr. Mills for attending our meeting tonight. I think that's all of you that are out there. I hope there's not somebody behind that pole right there. And thank you to those who came to make public comment tonight. I did prepare a little something because I don't want to mess up and forget, but it was a pleasure to attend the non-traditional high school graduations and to attend graduation in North Stanley High School this year. A big thank you to all those who helped to make those ceremonies a true success. To our graduates, congratulations. Go and do big things and make Stanley County proud. To all of our staff and students, please enjoy your summer break and have fun, make memories, and come back in August eager and ready for the best school year ever in 25-26. For a bit of information now, this board has been operating since January in a manner that I'm not personally proud of as it pertains to the public in a manner of civility and respect. A school board should be focused on student outcomes and due diligence and transparency. Instead, we are operating behind closed doors and in closed session. We are developing plans for redistricting in committee and pushing personal agendas. Access to materials and data should be readily available so that board members can make informed decisions. Getting information close to midnight the night before a meeting, and sometimes information 30 minutes after a meeting has begun, is not allowing board members the ability to prepare and frankly not okay. Operating in a way where we pick and choose which policies and procedures we're going to follow according to what's on the agenda at the time. One may ask, what are these policies in question? They are as follows. Policy 2321, closed session pertaining to minutes kept. Policy 2335, advanced delivery of meeting materials. Policy 1010, number 4, board authority and duties. Policy 4050, children of military families. Policy 2302, remote participation. Policy 2230, board committees Part A and Part C. Policy 2340, parliamentary procedure. Policy 2000, number 4, board operations. Policy 2321, closed session as it pertains to permitted purposes. Policy 2610, board attorney, paragraph number 3, and general statute for closed session violations of student matters as a reason to enter into closed session. An effective school board is one which positive environment is created to ensure positive outcomes for students and should maintain community trust and engagement. This board was elected by the taxpayers and citizens of Stanley County and should serve the people of this county. Today we have voted on issues that are huge in this county and they should have been duly presented and discussed in open meeting. There was zero time for stakeholder input, and I owe it to the stakeholders of this county to have time to hear their comments and opinions. This information was also first introduced that we voted on today, one day after the county commissioner meeting. That's some interesting timing, and things are just not adding up. And this had to be brought out today because we're not allowed to speak to either of our attorneys. So that's the end of my comment.
Any other comments?
I would like to make one. I don't know what people think, but this county office works theirself to death. I've been in there a lot. I've been on this board a lot. And I've been in this system a lot. And as far as Dr. Dennis is concerned, he is the best superintendent we've ever had. I've been through a lot of them, and I know. So I don't know what everybody thinks about this, but you better be looking at yourself. I appreciate what Hope does. She does a lot for us and a lot for Dr. Dennis. And this is no comment.
No public comment.
No. I didn't comment to y'all. Anyway, sometimes I am. But this county office works really, really hard to make decisions for these kids, and so do we. And sometimes I wonder what people think out in the public, but sometimes you're not right. So just remember, look at yourself sometimes.
Any other comments?
Yep, we're looking at you now.
I do. I have a
Let Ms. Gibson go.
Okay.
Ms. Allman, and I'll come back to you.
Certainly, I want to echo what was said about the 2A state champions. That's wonderful. It's great. And then also I was able to not participate. I watched field days, a lot of field days, and award days at the end of school. So that was always just a pleasure. I appreciated the CTE plan, Ms. Melton. And also, we were able to celebrate our Stanley County Principal of the Year, Ms. Pennington, our Teacher of the Year, our Assistant Principal of the Year. We also have had celebrations for our retirees, and all of that is a part of the end-of-school activities, which is very, it's just a good feeling. I attended all of the graduations, the SCOVE, the Academy, the early college, the early college STEM. The speakers, I'll agree with Mr. Sorensen. They're just amazing. And then I was able to attend West Stanley High School's graduation, which was extremely special. One other thing I want to point out to everyone and our board, someone sometimes that does so much work, but she goes unnoticed lots of times, is Miss Hope Miller. And I want everyone to know that she has been requested to present at the network that represents all administrative assistants across the Northwest region, and she will be teaching and presenting information, and this is kind of goes along, I believe, with the superintendent's conference that's there. You see Hope, she has her head down. She doesn't like to bring recognition to herself, but when someone does just amazing job, and she always has for us, I just felt it was very important for everyone to realize that she's the person out here now that's going to be training others. So thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Almond?
Yes, can everyone hear me? Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. So, in my personal opinion as a board member, yes, I fully agree that our central office does an incredible job. But I'm actually going to piggyback off of what Ms. Poplin was talking about, because when we were doing committee reports, we had every opportunity to share with the rest of the public exactly what our CIP committee has been discussing. We had every opportunity to share with our county commissioners when we were in a meeting with them exactly what our plans are. But yet transparency and communication continues to be an issue. And that is the whole reason why I decided to even run for school board. And I believe I was elected by the people because they want transparency and communication. So that's what I'm here to do tonight. When we're discussing consolidation, the public is the first person that we should even go to, because they're the ones that pretty much say yay or nay. They hire us to do a job, and that is to work for them. So I want to make that very clear that as a board, it is our job to listen to the people that hire us. So for everybody that does not know what was discussed in the CIP committee meeting, if you go to our school board website and you click on district and you go down to board doc, you can see exactly what was discussed, and it is consolidation. And we had every opportunity to talk about that tonight. And why we don't is the question I want to put out. Why do we not communicate with our commissioners? Why do we not tell them the plans? Why did we not tell them that we had a demographer coming the very next day? These are the questions that need to be answered, and we have got to be more transparent. That is all.
Thank you, Ms. Almond. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'll make a couple. Just want to thank again the track and field guys for coming up here and getting recognized. I used to be a track and field coach, and that's very special. Was lucky enough to have a couple state champions when I was at Forest Hills, and very proud of them. Ran track in high school. It's just a sport that's near and dear to me. The end of the year, again, echoing what some people say, the graduations are some of the greatest things to attend. Looking at the young men and women walking across the stage to the next chapter of their life. And especially to push from all the staff and our teachers and everyone at the end to try to get some of our maybe less motivated students past the goal line. They did a great job, and everyone did a great job, especially with everything at the end of the year. Testing and everything went well. We're looking at increases in almost every area for next year once everything pans out from the state. So I'm just really impressed, and really my gratitude to all the staff that and what they did at the end of the year coming through. I know, you get close to the finish line and you may get a little tired, you may get a little wary, but everyone did an outstanding job, so thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Dennis. We appreciate what you do. That's it? No other comments? Our next meeting will actually be held on Tuesday, August the 5th, 2025, here in the Gene McIntyre Room at 6:15. We will not have a July meeting. That's just common practice for the board to not meet during the month of July. So that will be held August the 5th, once again, Tuesday, August the 5th. That is the end of our agenda, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. We are adjourned.